Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Shattered in Child Abuse Awareness for Darlene J. Clark. Thank you all for coming. Sorry, I'm setting up a little something up that in there. I meant to put this in an outro, so sorry about that. I hope everybody's doing good today. That is how my book looks right there. Get off of there now. Hello, there, everyone that is here. Please say hello. Please hit the thumbs up, the like, subscribe, and share. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. Others Stephen and Daniel will put trigger warning those affected. Without further ado, I like to go ahead usually and say Bible verse or two. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. You got to learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Yeah, making the comments there. Is it my screen? So now we're going to go over some different things today concerning human trafficking, sex trafficking, TBI human trafficking sting nets 9 arrests, including 2 from Shelby County here in Tennessee. This is April the 15th, 2025. Give credit where credit is due. This is Box 13, Jack Bellew, Memphis, Tennessee. 9 people are behind bars, including 2 people from Shelby County, after a 2-day undercover human trafficking sting operation in Middle Tennessee. According to court records obtained by Fox 13, undercover investigators posted online ads posing as minors, prostitutes, or men seeking prostitutes. They lured alleged prostitutes, pimps, clients, and pedophiles to a hotel in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and arrested them when they arrived. I would really just like to commend law enforcement, Catherine Valencia, executive director of the Mid-South based anti-human trafficking nonprofit A Way Out Ministry, said they are critical in this fight. The 9 people arrested during the sting came from across Tennessee and beyond. One was as far away as Conway, Arkansas. Their charges range from promoting prostitution to aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. Vincent Billingsley of Memphis and Morgan Garrett of Cordova are both charged with promoting prostitution. Billingsley also faces a weapon charge and a drug charge. According to court records, both responded to online ads seeking a prostitute and found undercover cops instead. Valencia said a huge part of her organization's work is cataloging and reporting online prostitution ads to law enforcement and offering help to the women in the ads. We gathered the phone numbers demographic information, and tattoos if they have any, she said. Then we have a hotline number, a help number that we text girls. We do that twice a month. Valencia said there are dozens of sites that act as online marketplaces for prostitutes. She sent Fox 13 links to a few of them. The content on the sites is not suitable for publication. They featured pornographic images of the prostitutes. It took only seconds to access the sites, which were full of listings. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's most recent report on human trafficking for 2023 states at the time there were nearly 900,000 online ads for prostitutes across the state. It's heart wrenching. Some of these girls are so young. You can tell by their body parts. They are completely nude on these websites, Valencia said. They're definitely underdeveloped. They are minors. We reach out and flag those who are suspected minors and forward them on to law enforcement as well. TBI reports two human trafficking victims were recovered during the sting and are now in the custody of Thistle Farms and Ancora, Tennessee, a pair of organizations similar to A Way Out Ministries. Valencia said it could take years for human trafficking victims to readjust to normal life. Let me show you how Thistle is. Okay, here's Thistle Farms right here. He'll house employee and advocate. Your support helps create sanctuary and healing for women survivors of prostitution and exploitation, 2 years of free housing, health care and trauma therapy, meaningful employment, advocacy, and public policy initiatives. Okay. And then with Ancora, human trafficking occurs in every city, every county, and every zip code in Middle Tennessee, and probably all across the United States. It's formerly called In Slavery, Tennessee, works tirelessly to nurture survivor healing and strategically combat human trafficking in Middle Tennessee. We seek to break cycles of exploitation and support survivors of human trafficking as they heal from their traumas, offering long term, comprehensive aftercare services. Through educating communities and professionals advocating for legal changes and implementing prevention programming, Accord Tennessee works to stop human trafficking before it ever begins. Well, there's something that happened to my friend in Texas. I was about to say Tennessee, and I had even asked them if they could call the feds. If they do find out that because this person is using a lot of aliases, the cops told me today that the feds are not interested in trying to help somebody unless they're taken across state lines. Said, unfortunately, the only way the feds would have been called in helping my friend that was kidnapped and sexually exploited was that she had to be kidnapped or dead. So that's the only way that the FBI would help her. Is that not sad and sadistic? So here is where Florida men charged in truly heinous global child porn ring involving over 1 million files. Wow, I almost said files before. It said officials say they discovered the ring during a proactive criminal review, and some material was readily available through ads on TikTok. So be careful about TikTok, people. And I'm sure things on Facebook too, because I had an ex friend who kept his profile hidden who had a lot of sexual pictures and stuff like that. And you notice I said ex friend? Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Florida Attorney General James Upmeyer, and representatives from Homeland Security investigations have arrested 7 Florida residents in an ongoing international child sexual abuse material SCAM crime ring investigation. Officials say the men purchased the material through ads on TikTok and that the ringleader is believed to be in Turkey. I believe I've done went over this story before. One undercover agent working the case was able to purchase 6.7 terabytes of child pornography, comprising roughly 1.2 million videos and pictures, according to Special Agent in Charge Mark Britnell. It's disgusting that child sexual abuse material is advertised in plain view on apps such as TikTok, and we will continue fighting to get these major social media companies to do their part in shutting down the spread of this material. I'm grateful for our FDLE partners who uncovered the deviant network and highlighted their sickening actions. Our statewide prosecutors will ensure these disgusting criminals face justice, said Attorney General James Uthmeyer. See, the thing with this guy that's did my friend this way, he's got so many aliases, right? So we're like, so the police actually said, well, we looked it up on the day that we had found, and there was no vehicle in that area. We checked the license plates or whatever of what cars was under his name. But he has aliases, so he's got cars under other aliases stuff. But she said, they said as long as she got in the car, which was ride share, which was paid by Humana to take her to and fro the doctor, she had no intent. The guy had intent, knew what he was doing. So they said they can't get him with kidnapping. That was against her will, to be taken anywhere other than her home. He took her to a house and he did some things, okay? But we're leaving it at that. Florida officials divided over ICE deportation deal aimed at criminal aliens in Bears for City. Well, here are the peoples right here. Florida officials say the suspects purchased the material through ads on TikTok, that the ringleader is believed to be in Turkey. Yes, we had we definitely went over this before. The alleged the arrests of these predators are just beginning. Every image of child abuse leaves a lasting scar on an innocent life, and we will aggressively prosecute these heinous crimes," said Uthmeyer. That's one of the things they get into. These people, they get into this pornography as well. And I don't know how accurate Charles will have to tell me about this, whether or not these people will help. But this is actually Human Trafficking Task Force in Georgia. For you people around the areas, please don't hesitate at least to try. Georgia Human Trafficking Resource List, statewide human trafficking hotline. Y'all can see the numbers here. 1-866-363-4842 in Human Trafficking GA. That's what it said. It stands for NHTAGA.org. In coordination with state partners, CJCC facilitated the creation of a statewide human trafficking hotline to serve as a one-stop shop to answer questions and offer assistance related to trafficking. This hotline is vital. It's a valuable resource that provides information to law enforcement with their suspicion of sexual and/or labor exploitation of minors or adults, as well as connects individuals to services and resources throughout the state. Trained law enforcement agents, advocates, and first responders are available 24/7 to answer calls. The hotline is also available in Spanish. Put in mind that there are still a lot of these people that are suffering from Bentley Farms in Marietta, Georgia. But in mind that a lot of them traffickers that are got a lot of money, that are judges, lawyers, they're still going around here over here in Marietta, Georgia. They're scattered abroad. So it's kind of scary to contact any agency in that area. Option one, to be connected to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation if you see or hear something suspicious that you suspect is human trafficking. Option two, to be connected to Children's Advocacy Centers of Georgia for resources and information for minors who may or have been sex trafficked. Sorry. Option three, to be connected to statewide human trafficking victim advocate for resources and information for adults who may or have been sex trafficked. Option four, to be connected to Tapestry for resources and information for foreign adults and minors who may or have been labored and or sex trafficked. Option five is to be connected to the Receiving Hope Center, a residential intake center for confirmed or suspected trafficked youth. Option six, to be connected to the National Human Trafficking Hotline for out of state resources and information. These agencies will connect you with further resources if needed. Child Advocacy Centers conducts forensic interviews, family and victim advocacy, therapy and therapy referrals, medical exams and referrals. That is cacga.org. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Stephanie Blank Center, location Scottish Rite and Hughes Spalding, conducts forensic medical exams. There's the number there, 404-785-5437. And there is the URL right there. Division, when you're watching this, you can go back later or you can screenshot it where you have the numbers. Division of Family and Children's Services, you are mandated to report to DFCS. DFCS is increasingly being trained specifically to handle CSEC cases. There's the number there. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Metro Atlanta Child Exploitation Task Force, Match, FBI database. There's the number there. Frontline response, my stomach's growling, I'm sorry. Frontline response will pick up an adult victim upon request and provide shelter and other services. Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Child Exploitation and Computer Crimes Unit. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Receiving Hope Center, residential intake facility for trafficked youth between the ages of 12 and 17 years old. Provides full wraparound services. Tapestry addresses the needs of foreign survivors of violence. Provides crisis counseling, short-term shelter, and housing assistance. Healthcare, medical assistance, assistance with legal and immigration issues. TESL vocational and life skills training and translation services. That would be great for a lot of the agencies that help out where they can get these healthcare, medical, and also be able to teach them skills, career opportunities. And it says, see right here, that's what I hated about that because of Marietta, Marietta Street, but in Atlanta, Georgia. How can we help? There's a primary phone number, toll free number, and a fax. And without further ado, let me get to the next information here. Okay, guess I'm scoring through too fast right here. Human trafficking statistics and facts in 2024. A crime involving the exploitation of someone for the purpose of compelled labor of a commercial sex act through the use of force, fraud, or coercion. DHS, where a person younger than 18 is induced to perform a commercial sex act, it is a crime regardless of whether there is any force, fraud, or coercion. The traffickers often use violence or fraudulent employment agencies and fake promises of education and job opportunities to trick and coerce their victims. An important term to know is child sexual abuse material, CSAM, which is any image or video of a sexually explicit content involving a minor, someone under 18 years of age. Commonplace in human trafficking worldwide, from high profile cities in the United States to remote locations around the world. Human trafficking is a relatively silent epidemic that impacts communities everywhere. For this reason, our rescue operates internationally in 5 regions. The primary causes of human trafficking: traffickers, just like other types of predators, usually target vulnerable populations, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Victims are likely to suffer from psychological or emotional vulnerability, economic hardship, lack of a social safety net, natural disasters, political instability. Common types of human trafficking is: number one, forced labor. Victims are forced to work against their will. Two, sex. Individuals are required to engage in sexual acts. Three, forced marriage. I'm glad that they put that in there. The forced marriages. Victims are forced to marry another person without giving consent. Four, domestic servitude. Forced labor that occurs in a private household. Child soldiers. Minors are used as fighters in acts of war. There are statistics of human trafficking worldwide. Human trafficking statistics reveal a very sad reality for many individuals. Behind every statistic, a person, someone's mother, father, brother, or sister. These stats provide insight into the severity of the issue. Today, there are 49.6 million people in modern slavery worldwide, and 12 million of them are children. And there's so many that's underreported. You got to remember that. Underreported, not reported at all. 54% of those trapped in modern slavery are women and girls. Sex trafficking is the most common type of trafficking in the U.S. That's according to Polaris. That is a really good organization to go to and read up on a lot of their literature as well. There are 88 million child sexual abuse material files reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, TIPLINE, in 2022. Child sex trafficking has been reported in all 50 states. Forced commercial sexual exploitation generates 173 billion in illegal profits annually. This was written by ILO in 2024. Human trafficking is the second most profitable illegal industry in the United States. Here's where multiple organizations estimate that 500,000 predators are online every day, leaving minors vulnerable each time they access a social media account. You play video games on your TVs. You go in there and they chat. They might say that they're a kid, and they're not really a kid. They're a grown adult. Your kid might trust them and say, okay, let's meet up. It turns out when they meet up, it's not a safe location. They're kidnapped. Sometimes they get found, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes these people murder our kids. 1 in 3 children are first exposed to social media at age 5 or younger. One in three children are expected to have an unwelcome sexual experience online before they turn 18. See that number? One in three children? Think about how many grandkids you got and look at it and how many you rule out, like one out of three. That's pretty sick, sadistic. Watch your kids closely, please, right? They might get mad at you for wanting to look at their computers or their cell phones or whatever, but you need to know. Younger social media exposure correlates with more sexual harm online and peaks for kids who start using social media at 11 to 12, the age around which most American children get their first smartphone. 43% of kids exposed to inappropriate sexual content online were under 13. I'd heard of an app that people can get. I think it's called Bark, BARK, and you're supposed to be able to put it on your phone, and you tie it into your child's phone. So when there's some kind of information out there that, like if your kids are saying if there's even a picture of a bruise on them, it's going to notify the parent, that self harm possibly, right? Or if it says anything about sex, the parent will get alerted if there's a sexual comment. I think that's good to know. Well, I am a survivor myself, okay? And I will get the word out, but I'm getting out there a different one. If you don't want to be in here, I was a kid when I was trafficked myself, okay? It's not misleading. I'm saying the statistics right here. Thank you so much. Because evidently Miss Pink might be one of the traffickers. Additionally, the United States Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Person publishes a trafficking report annually. On a global scale, the United Nations and International Labour Organization provide guidance in the fight against human trafficking. So we're going to share, we're going to go into some of these little details and going to show y'all some of the things that some of these perpetrators will say, okay? Some of y'all at Facebook might not see it, so um, why are doxing people case numbers? You're becoming part of a problem because your doxing is completely insane. Doxing. And you can't help no one out with anything. Well, if I can't help them out bringing out information, excuse me. That's what I'm doing. I'm bringing out information, okay? You're acting completely ridiculous. Like, shut up. See? That's what they want us to do. They want us to shut up. You see that? On his list, boy, talking about trafficking and kids being involved in it. Y'all see? Y'all see some of the things that's going on? They want us to be quiet. See? You're not helping any case by talking about it. Excuse me? You're not an expert yet. More likely, this old news again. You're sitting here talking about it. It ain't just old news. This is happening every day. So therefore, you become part of the problem. How did I dox a location? Exactly, you're reading a news article here. Hey, Tammy, good to see you. No one literally cares about trafficking. You see that, y'all? This person said nobody cares. You know, I'm the only one who cares about this. I don't think so. People are like you are sick to be talking about this type of stuff. Like you are sick to. Let's see what else she had to say. Why you bring kids into this? Stop and leave this out. No, it is true. Kids are affected. Our kids are affected. I'm gonna start crying just because of fact. Kids, there's too many kids that's affected and being sold. There's too many kids that are passed around that are sent off getting married. There's too much of this going on. There are a lot of people who give a dang about what's going on. And I'm sorry that there's somebody in here that was evil that said nobody cares about the children. Nobody cares about the trafficking. Oh, I'm sorry. That breaks my heart. That person came and keeps me hoping I stop what I'm doing. But I'm not going to stop. I will get the word out. I appreciate you, Tammy, so much for doing that. Yes, we found some trafficking survivors in here too. There we go. And what it ain't about. If it's about money, how come I'm not charging money here? You tell me. Okay. Tammy, you know what to do there, okay? I appreciate it. Hey, Tammy, can you get rid of her, please, or him, or whatever sick twisted? It ain't about money, because I don't get no money for this. Thank you very much, Pink Bow. It's about getting the word out. Oh, yeah. Talking about Pink Bow, we got to stand up for our kids. We got to stand up for other people that's going through this. This is a big problem in the United States and across the world. Well, thank you so much, Gene. This is not false rumor. This is facts. Hey, Gene, I'm going to make you a mod so you can get rid of that person, please. Appreciate that if you will. It's not rumors, these are facts. And I feel sorry for you. Thank you so much. This is hard to talk about, people. And I don't come on here asking for money. I do come in here to let people know what's going on. What we can learn, the additional steps to take. We go through education. You learn the signs of human trafficking, okay? And let me go ahead and share the screen again. You did? Thank you so much. Thank you. You know her or him? Not a good person, I tell you. So here's the signs of human trafficking. How can I identify human trafficking, right? Here's some physical signs. It said there are indications you can notice for someone's physical appearance. Abuse is a common sign that something is wrong. This can reveal itself through bruises, broken bones, and other injuries. Sometimes human traffickers brand the victims with physical markings. These are often tattoos with a sexual innuendo or suggestion of money and ownership, like markings, skin wounds, sometimes serve as another telltale sign that human trafficking is occurring. Branding rashes and bruising are typically seen in victims of sex trafficking, whereas cuts, burns, and skin injury are more likely found on victims of trafficking. Sorry. Plus, a lot of times you burn yourself, self harm and stuff to get rid of the pain. I've known of a lot of my friends that that's what they did. Emotional and psychological signs, suspicious activities. There's concern, especially if it's a minor. On the same note, a minor dating a much older individual is also a major red flag. Additional suspicious activities include someone living with unreasonable conditions. Too many people living in a small place, especially in a place that's owned, controlled by the employer. Lack of running water and other basic necessities in the context of a filthy environment. Not being in control of personal possessions. Or checking into a hotel with an individual they appear to have no relationship with. There's concerning situations. We could go on and read about this. But I want to touch base with a couple of things. Since this person says I'm not real, for real, I'm going to shed a little bit of light, okay? There's some things I don't divulge yet. I do not feel safe. But at times, I guess I do got to tell it. Yes, I was trafficked. My own family trafficked me. Took me to the store. Okay, I'll make sure to have it down. Let me take a picture, screenshot of that so I have your number, Tammy. But I can remember my stepmom, my birth mom, taking me at 2 years old, and this was in Orlando, Florida. She took me into the restaurant. Y'all want to hear real? I thought it was special. I thought it was going to be mom and daughter time or something. The lady went to bring, said, "You want something to eat?" And I thought mom was going to feed me, but she said, "No, she's not here to eat or drink. Just give her some water." So I was drinking some water and stuff, and these guys would come up. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, you want to buy her? You want her? And I was thinking, do what? I didn't really understand the concept, right? It didn't take long to understand what that concept was. Just bring her back alive. We don't care what you do with her. Just bring her back alive. So, excuse me, this is a true story. This is my own story. Other times, to have run into when I was doing family tree genealogy when I was married. And I met a guy at the library so that we could compare what our genealogies. Even though we were not related, we had similar last name. Before I even got seated, I just put my purse down on the table. He said, I remember you. I said, from what? He said, from all the child porno. He said, my daddy had over 300 child porno videos, and you were in the majority of them. So, excuse me. Can't get realer than that, okay? I fell. My legs would not work. I fell backwards, and I caught myself on the table as I was going over, and I landed in the chair, but I was holding on. I had to sit there and listen to him say some more things, and it was so heart wrenching because my legs would not work. It knocked me off my feet so much, my body. Oh man, y'all would not understand how horrible it was. To sit here and listen to the guy said, and I enjoyed doing you when you were a little kid. Excuse me, sick, twisted, and he was an Alabama state trooper. Okay, sick, twisted. So I thought, well, why don't I ask a few questions? Okay, so I said, since you're a state trooper and since your daddy's dead, I hope you disposed of the videos. He said, no. He said his daddy had a buddy who liked watching the videos along with him, so he gave him about half of them. I said, do what? And you're a state trooper. Oh, geez, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. And I said, well, how old was I? So that was further investigating to see if it could be true, because I know at a certain age, I went and lived with my birth mom away from my. See, at this time, from 4 to 11, I was living with my dad and my stepmom. So he said ages 4 to 11. How would he know that, right? That happened to be around the time I come back from Florida, possibly. So, excuse me, child porno. And then I went and looked at his obituary. He's because he told me that he was like 9 year old when I was 4 year old. He lied. He was 17 or 18 year old when I was 4 years old. Okay. You would not know how hard that was. I was finally glad when my legs would work. And then to go home and have to tell my abusive husband about this going on and to be hit by him also instead of somebody comfort. I didn't know what to do. I knew I couldn't call the police because he was a state trooper, right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you go to find out years later and you start having memories where your dad was taking you to places and selling you to men, doing anything? What are you going to do when you go like this and you actually see other kids in cages? What are you going to do when you do that? When you see that? when you go and try to help the kids out of the cages. I don't have none of that in my book, okay? Not yet. So I guess it's about high time I do, right? But I want to thank everybody for coming and listening. I mean, this is for real. This child sex trafficking, and yes, we got to bring kids into the equation. Darlene Hooks. Photos, making videos. Oh, I'm so sorry that you endured that, Jean. I really do. You didn't deserve that any of that. I don't remember too much about the pornography except for my daddy taking me over to the auction house, and he had like a this guy, the state trooper's dad, had an auction house. He had a hamburger place, and he had an ice cream place. But in the place where they basically auctioned out furniture and stuff like that, but then they had a back room where they took me to, and that's where my daddy sold me to the guys in that auction house. Do whatever, eh? Just bring me back alive. That's the point. Just bring her back alive so she can continue being used this way, right? It don't make any, it don't make me any less value. We put the blames on the perpetrators. We don't need to take the blame for ourselves. It makes us feel dirty and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? That's not the way God wanted our parents to be treating us. That's not how God intended for children to be treated. We hold them accountable. I'm so glad that you don't have memory of it also, Jean, because it is devastating what you do, you know? And I'm sad to say I did actually see, and I had a memory back in around November, December, and I got suicidal because of the memory, okay, people? But when you actually see dead kids hanging up on hangers, yeah, you're going to have a problem. That's going to be a nightmare. I didn't want to be around anybody when I remembered that memory, okay? I'm saying a lot more than I normally do, but somebody ticked me off a little bit more, and I guess maybe it's made where I was supposed to say this today, huh? Some things don't happen by accident, huh? I want to show y'all a copy of my latest book, Born in Living Hell. This is version 2.0. It's now available in hardcover, softcover, Kindle. I thank you all for coming, and let's remember to be hyper vigilant for our kids. Be hyper vigilant for each other. Let's support each other. Let's stand firm. So we ain't gonna take it. I say thank you so much, and God bless.